Fire authorities around the country are warning people shopping for Christmas presents this year to think about fire safety when buying electronics powered by lithium-ion batteries. So that seems like e-scooters, cordless vacuum cleaners, smartwatches, electric toothbrushes, and most phones, tablets and laptops. So quite a number of things.
I know, you just don't think about it, do you? Now, Queensland and Victorian firefighters reckon that they're responding to almost daily battery-related house fires, while in New South Wales, they're calling the so-called lithium batteries the fastest growing fire risk in the state. Well, Jeremy Futrell is the Fire and Rescue New South Wales Commissioner. He joins us now in the studio. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for taking the time to speak with us. I'm just looking at some of the statistics here. The most incidents of 97 fires in New South Wales linked to mobile phones, cordless vacuum cleaners, electric toothbrush. I always thought it was e-scooters.
No, so it's a range of products, and if people had a look around their house, they're normally quite surprised when you do a sort of a more detailed stock take how many items they have in their homes that do contain lithium-ion batteries. And a lot of devices these days will have them embedded in. It's not a battery that you're physically having to put in, but it's deeply embedded into the device, so people don't sort of think about it too much. But we've seen a lot of fires involving e-scooters and e-bikes, but we're also seeing all these other devices. And so they're the two categories of devices that contain lithium-ion batteries that we're having the greatest numbers of fires in.
So how are the fires sparked? Is it more about the battery or how they're treated?
It's a combination of both, and particularly for things like e-bikes, scooters and skateboards, they do get a bit of knocking around, and people might be jumping on and off gutters and dropping them and all those sorts of things. So I think there's a risk there that some of the ways that the devices are used, and that might be unintentional, but sometimes we do see people damaging or trying to modify the batteries, and that's another area where people can cause a lot of damage to the battery. And when that happens, sometimes that fire will start instantaneously, and these fires spread really quickly. Or it might sit there as a sort of a latent issue, but at some point the fault becomes sufficient within the battery for it to fail. So just because it's been dropped and damaged doesn't mean it's going to immediately burst into flames, but that damage can lie there and then cause a problem down the track.
Let's have a look. I think we've got some vision here, there it is, of a fire actually starting. This is real, oh my goodness, this is real time, isn't it, Jeremy?
Yeah, it is. And so this is a scenario we did a month or two ago, and then just a few weekends ago we had a fire not far from where we are in Sydney here, where exactly the same thing happened. A battery from a power tool was charging on a lounge in an apartment and it caught fire. And what you can see from that footage is how violent and how quickly it develops. And so what you're seeing with those little explosions is the individual cells in that battery pack are failing. And when they fail, they heat up, they explode, and they shoot flame out everywhere. And so you can see little bursts of flame spreading across the room. And as this fire develops, like you just saw there with that explosion, and so very quickly you can go from having no issue to having a very serious fire. And from this point on, this fire really takes hold very quickly. So people have very short time to get moving and get out.
Here's the thing I want to ask too. Are these products, do they actually meet Australian fire safety standards?
So that's one of our concerns, is making sure people are using good quality products. Now there's a range of standards starting to come into effect. In New South Wales, we've got new regulation requiring product standards for e-bikes and e-scooters and skateboards coming into effect in February, and so that'll help to improve the quality there. We've also got, we encourage people to shop carefully, so they can look for the little green tick on the product. There's a little triangle with a green tick, and that's the sort of indicator that from an Australian perspective it's certified. And these products are developing so quickly, and there's so many different ways they're getting incorporated and things, so there's a bit of a period of catch-up that's happening now to get on top of those things. But what we're recommending to people is to always buy reputable brands, so not to buy something that's if it's cheap and looks too good to be true, it probably is, and for something like this, the problems that can cause you down the track are really significant.
So it starts from the point of purchase really, but then once you have the item, whether it's certified or not, what's best practice? Obviously not charging it on the couch perhaps.
Yeah, so we encourage people to charge the batteries on a hard surface for the very reason that, as you can see with that lounge, how quickly it can catch fire, and also it lets the heat dissipate from the battery as it's charging, and whereas if it's on a soft furnishing, sometimes that can act as an insulator and let that heat build up. So charge it with the chargers that the product came with. Sometimes people will look at the plug and think, oh, this charger fits into that plug, it must be okay, but the different batteries need different rates of power put into them, and if you put the wrong combination together, it can lead to a fire. And also we want people to stay and pay attention when they're charging. So don't put them on when you're going to bed and charge it overnight, or don't put it on when you're going to work and leaving the house for
Even
hours.
phones and tablets like that, not overnight.
Yeah, so we encourage people to do it. And sometimes people will say, oh, I put my phone on charge and then have it under my pillow and all those sorts of things. So that's a really dangerous combination of things to do.
Yeah.